Well, hello people, and welcome back to part 23 of Egginburgh, our Cities Skylines 2 series. I hope you're having a wonderful day. We're due for a slightly shorter episode today since I'm full of a cold, and the infrastructurist has recently highlighted a prop that allows us to build custom train stations. So we're going to return to the transport hub of Bourbon, delete this train station, and build a fully custom one using props, surfaces, and lots of little modded fun. So let's get stuck into it, shall we? So to start today's episode, I actually want to rip everything out around this train station. And then let's go ahead and reconnect our main train line here so we have a nice through route. So big shout out to the infrastructurist for this find. It's an incredible tool that I'm very much looking forward to using today. So we're going to use dev mode, which you don't know is -developer mode with a capital M in your Steam launch options to get access to it. Pretty sure everyone knows about this now. And what we want to search for is integrated. Now there's an item here called the integrated passenger train stop. Now what this is essentially these little icons. I'll tell you what we'll do. We'll head over to Whiskey train station. So it's this little icon here, right? It's what is used to draw a train line to and from. Okay, it's essentially a station point. Now, usually they're only present in actual train station buildings, but with the power dead mode, you can place them as an item, which means you can essentially have anywhere along your train line be a train station as long as Sims can get back into to it. It's pretty cool. It's very, very, very awesome. So I'm going to add these level with the pedestrian road here. Let's go for there. We'll have one there. And we've also got a different train line as well. That runs in a slightly different direction from the outside connection, I think, to this station. So now we have those in. I'd like to use the regular pathways as a little bit of a sort of station, I suppose. I guess it's a bit of a platform is what I'm trying to do here with it. So I'm going to run that parallel with the train line for a little bit. We'll be up until about there, I think. And then I want to space that secondary train line here, so for that I'm going to use zoning cell length, and let's say 16 meters. That allows me to get another row in there as well, because I want that part of my design. So we'll have that there, and then we'll also run this one to be the same length, so let's do this one here. And then this can be our internal platform. Now of course, as we have access to the surfaces these days, we can fill this out with surface, which we'll do in a bit of a detail in time lapse today. And then we also have our second line. Love to have this. Turn off all of our snapping here. And we'll just roughly eye this up. Let's go for that there. I think I'm happy with. And that should be pretty cool. And then we'll come back to geometry and angle, and let's hook this back into our existing train infrastructure. This can go, and if this can go straight up toward that angle actually. Put Anarchy on. So I'd also like to bring the pedestrian pathway up toward my platform as well. Now you could actually connect it in there, but that's not really what I want to do. I actually want to come off the road guidelines tab in here. Let's have this come up by 57 meters, I think is what I'm going to be happy with. Then essentially want to repeat this angle right here, okay? So let's come off cell length and we'll see about there is where I want it to be. Let's bring it up, and I'm not going to bring it to the top of the line. You can actually create crossings here, but again, don't want people crossing over the train line. Might be a little ridiculous. And then we'll probably have the same thing over here as well. Draw that down to roughly where it's going to come up to, and then we'll connect it over here, something like that. And then off the back of this, I'd just like to create a few little sections here where it connects up to the train line where people can walk. And let's also add that second integrated passenger train stop onto that second line over here as well, which is great, isn't it? But now the train station is essentially been replaced, right? It's a super cool bit of functionality. I'm trying to grab that white line, yeah, so the white line is the intercity connection there, isn't it? So you can see how it works now, okay? So once the train, like when someone tickles your neck, isn't it? You kind of like shoot back into your shoulders. But anyway, once this train finds its feet, you will now see that it functions as an integrated train stop, which is so incredibly cool. Okay, so here comes our intercity connection, and he's going to stop here now because they have that stop there. Okay, this guy's going to walk around. Now we probably need to give him connection. I'm actually interested to see just exactly where he walks. I'm assuming he's going to go down there, isn't he? But we'll fix that with another connection here so they can actually get onto the pathways. But you can see them doing the same thing here, right? They're getting off the train now, they're walking down. Now, without the surfaces, which we will do, again, you know, we use our surfaces here, it looks a little bit jarring, but it really opens up the possibility of custom train stations, doesn't it? To a totally different extent to what we had in Cities 1, because in Cities 1 you had that preset building. Granted, you could go in the workshop and get different train stations as well. But if you weren't particularly massive on downloading assets, then you would be limited to the buildings. But with the integrated train stop asset, you can form a train station out of whatever buildings and whatever paths and details, and just crazy. It really opens up the possibilities for train station design, I think, doesn't it? It's going to be pretty powerful. So now I have the station configured. I'd like to have some covered pedestrian bridge. So let's bring our bridge here. We're going to use the covered one, I think, and we'll have this come up to 7.5 meters. I'd like this to run straight over the tracks here. So something to that effect, I think. And we'll probably do the same over here as well. Something like that. So now we have this in, let's come back to pavement pathway and then we'll start to descend a little bit every time. I'd also like to do a little curve feature here. Can we do a little 4x4 meter curve each side? I think we can with Anarchy, can't we? And then we'll feed that straight down back to 0 again. That should give us a little cool switch back there. Maybe even worth just slightly opening that up a touch more. Let's do an 8 meter curve instead. Seems a little nicer, doesn't it? And then we'll feed that back down to ground level there. That should give us a nice switch back coming up over here to get over the rail. And then to give them access onto the secondary platform here, you just want to come into this one and then bring that down toward the middle there, and that gives them access to the platform. Of course, this sort of template here, which is a very basic one, is infinitely expandable, isn't it? So we did also have some, I guess, path hierarchy over this way, didn't we? So yeah, we've only got station this side, but just for the sake of symmetry and design, I wouldn't mind having the same pathways over here too. Let's go for that one, I reckon. Should be good. And then we can have this connect into everything that was over here before. Things like that. And then that's also... I'll go ahead and repeat this same connection over here as well. Cool. So this gives us a really nicely integrated train platform now. Again, fully custom, just using the integrated train stops. Just so cool. Massively blown away by this. It's just such a cool bit of functionality, right? Who knew we needed this? But now to provide connections onto the platform, what I want to happen is to draw a very small bit of pathway. See, if you draw it too much, it creates a crossing on the rail line. That's not what you want to happen. Same thing over here. Tiny little bit, too much, and you see the crossing generate. If you do that crossing, people are going to just walk across the tracks, which is obviously incredibly dangerous. You never see that in real life. So let's do it here. Let's come down. That one's a little bit too close, so we'll just amend the pathway there and fill the rest of it out with surfaces. But that should now give us, as we can see, the ability for Sims to walk across and actually get onto the pathways, which we can see here, which is great, isn't it? People are now using the switch back here as well to get up and over. So possibilities are essentially nearly endless now for custom train stations, aren't they? It just opens up a huge can of worms, doesn't it? Or a huge can of trains, if you will. I realised we didn't actually have that train stopping at that section, did we? There we go. Now they should both be stopping there. So hopefully now, once we just observe for a little bit, we can see passengers coming over to use the new train station, which is just wonderful, isn't it? I really can't wait to see what the community starts putting together with this functionality here. It's incredibly cool. Again, big shout out to the infrastructurists for finding the integrated passenger train stop. Just, it's amazing. Really cool. This is so super. But anyway, let's move into a detailing time lapse. I want to do lots of surfaces around here. Things like our tiles, I reckon would be quite nice. Yeah, stuff like that. And then I reckon just because we are near a train station here and we did lose the parking functionality, probably bring in medium parking lot again. Let's just have this. Yeah, and then we'll blend that into the design again. Cool. But otherwise, the concept is here. Let's go ahead now and get the whole thing detailed up, and then we'll be right back. Okay guys, let's have a little detailed review of our fully custom train station, shall we? I hope now it's complete you can see just how flexible these things are going to be and the possibilities that are now available because of them. It's pretty ridiculous, isn't it? Really like it. We've got our parking at the front of the station here, and then we've also dropped in a couple of European commercial buildings just to kind of function as maybe a little bit of food or a ticket office or something. Just some sort of actual structure for the train station, if you like. So information booths, ticket offices, etc. You can sort of get the general idea. And then we do have taxis actually driving up the edge here, which is pretty cool to drop people off right at the platforms. I like how they kind of do that. And then we've got lots of surface and tile work with benches and bins in between our little planters, which are actually sandboxes, but you can repurpose them as a little planter. And then this crosses over into the platform. Tons of people using the elevated pedestrian bridge now, which is super cool. I don't think I'll ever place another train station in CS again. Now I know about this. It's just amazing, isn't it? And then you come down onto the middle platform where again we've got more signs that we just use the picker to pick off of the ferry harbour on the other side of the water. Lots of A-boards, a little kind of grassy playground gazebo area where people can wait, maybe if they have children, rather than just waiting on the platforms, they can play here for a little while until their train turns up. And then a little eatery area over here with some tables and classic food stands before our little sort of curved pathway comes back up. And then we've got lots of fencing and thick tree line in between the rest of the train infrastructure and everyone else down here. And super simple, pretty short and easy episode today. Like I said, I'm full of a cold, so I don't want to be forcing my cold-ridden voice upon you guys for too long. That's going to do it for today. Thank you for watching. Massive shout out again for the infrastructurist for highlighting the integrated rail stop. I guess it's a prop, isn't it, really, or a building, whatever you want to call it, in the Find It sort of developer mode. Really cool. Massively opens up the possibility of custom train stations in whatever configuration you can imagine. You can pretty much build it. Kind of a really positive sign, really, for the future of CS2. Imagine this integrated rail stop will hopefully be available one day in Find It rather than it just being in dev mode. And I really can't wait to see what the community comes up with now that this has been discovered. Absolutely fantastic. Massive shout out to all the patrons supporting the channel. If you're interested in getting involved in that, there are links down to Patreon and Instant Gaming below, where you can get a little bit more out of the channel, should you so wish. Otherwise, thanks for watching today's custom train station build. Otherwise, I'll shut up and leave it there. Let's thank you all so much for watching. And as always, enjoy the rest of your day.